Look at this great space. Welcome to another network build. In this episode, we're going to be building out this auto body shop. This is your host and narrator, Derek from TCI. Let's get building. All right, let's get the tour of the facility that we're going to be building this network in. Right here is the waiting room and point of sale, which passes through to where the auto body work will be done. There'll be all kinds of A-frames, lifting machines, and things of that nature in this wide open space. Upstairs, there's another level, and in here is a break room, meeting room, some accounting areas, and extra storage. There's also this server room, so to speak. It's not in a great condition right now. The lights don't even work, but we're going to fix that. You can see some evidence left behind that there used to be a network here. There are old IP camera cables still in the ceiling and other miscellaneous Ethernet cords still hanging around. When possible, we try to reuse these to save on time, labor, materials, all that. I hate to waste the effort that another installer already went to. Now, speaking of reusing things, one thing we will not be doing is reusing this patch panel or most of the stuff that's here in this server room. It's all going to come out and get redone. We're only going to keep the physical wires themselves, and we're also going to pull them out of the wall and reroute them. Okay, so how are we going to run wires in this space? Take a look at the ceiling. Get a good look at the way that the iron girders line up and interlock with each other. And keep an eye on the way that the mezzanine and other structures that are built here have their own rooftop supports and structures. So one of the important things that I train installers to look for is the shape or outline of the rooftop structures. When you run wires, you want to trace the pathway that's created by the interlocking girders and conduit. Your cables will take the exact same paths, usually at right angles, so that everything looks clean. Drooping cables is not acceptable. So what do we do in a situation like this? What is the first thing that we should tackle? For us, it's determining which of these cables we're going to be keeping and which ones we're going to be discarding. The criteria that we use is obviously if the cable is in the right place, and then we also need to make sure that it has been run relatively well or up to our standards. If it takes an unusual or unsightly path through the ceiling, it's going to be removed. Also, if it goes somewhere that we don't need it, it will be removed as well. I don't like extra wires cluttering up our ceiling or cluttering up our patch panel / server area. So those will be removed if they're not of immediate use, even though there's nothing wrong with them. For all new network drops, what we do at this point is just rough in the wires. Roughing in just means setting up your boxes, taping on, labeling, and then pulling right away. It's no good to wait. We only have a couple of days in this space to finish this work, so we set up quickly and start pulling quickly. Everything is rough in that it doesn't look very good initially. We've carefully traced our path through the ceiling so that we know we can tighten it up later. So there's a little bit of logic to the path that we took. But at this phase, it doesn't need to look super clean. We just want to get the wires physically exactly where they need to be. The tightening up phase, or what we would call dressing the cables, that will come later. Now, to speed up our work, we try to work in tandem. It only takes 1 to 2 people to pull a new set of Ethernet drops. So in the meantime, we're going to make repairs to these existing faceplates and these keystones by freshening them up, checking that everything is okay with a cable tester, and just making these presentable again. Some of them were lopsided, etc. We're going to go through all the offices and make these functional on the new network. The more we can spread our people out and get things done simultaneously, the faster the job will go. Along that line of thinking, while the faceplates are being refreshed and the wires are being roughed in, someone should be here in this server room tearing apart all of this old equipment and making the space ready for new equipment to be installed. We'll be taking down this old patch panel, all of the patch cords, this switch, the modems, all of it. Everything's coming out, and we're just going to leave the backboard behind. We were so excited to get this room ready that we ended up drilling a hole where we shouldn't have because we didn't measure. So now there are 2 holes. That'll be where the chase pipe goes down, and then the cables feed into the room through the roof. Previously, they were feeding in through the back wall, but we don't like the way that that looks. We're going to have a cabinet on the wall, so we need the cables to come from an alternate direction. For our chase pipe, we'll be using a section of 4-inch diameter conduit that we've trimmed down to about 18 inches in length. We put little bushings around the ends so that it doesn't cut into our cables, and then we clamp it in place. This gives us a really nice transition to get from the open air roof into the network cabinet.
So, did you take out that switch that was there?
Yeah.
I think we should. Shoo! Look good. It is just a device that basically tightens it to itself. Keeps it from
When we dress our cables, we're trying to make them presentable to the end user. To that end, we get rid of all the loose slack and rolls and droops, and we put everything in hard conduit when we're able, and we make a proper information outlet for them. This way, they can plug their computers into something that's nice and sturdy, and if they should happen to bump or kick it in the course of their work, it'll hold up nicely. When it comes to dressing the APs, the end user had an interesting requirement, which was that they wanted the APs to be in the wide open area, hanging at the same height as these lights. To perform this, we hung the wire down, and then, using the Hilti nailer, we installed steel wire that we hung down to these platforms, making sure that the height was even with the lights. This is where the APs will be mounted shortly. Why would you do this? I mean, this is more work than doing it correctly. With the arrival on site of the technology staff, it's basically Christmas morning. Every kind of UniFi product you've ever dreamed of, he's brought with him. And we're going to be installing all these devices all around this body shop. There's cameras, access points, switches, card readers, infrared enhancers, you name it, he's got it. I'm going to let my staff install those because they need the practice. For my part, I took out the network cabinet, and I think I'll just build that for you, quick style. These racks are actually really easy to put together. Once you've done a couple of them, you can do one in about 15 minutes. However, I will say, almost every single one of these that I order has had this problem. I'm going to need reinforcements from somebody with some muscle. Science. I've screwed up a few of these racks in the past, so nowadays I make sure to measure so that the depth of my equipment is compatible with the door and the patch cords. You'd be shocked how often it is that you can't close the door because 48 patch cords refuse to bend. The locking mechanism comes with 3 sets of keys. They're all identical. I leave 2 sets of keys behind for the end user. And this third one, yoink! That's going to come live with us back at the home office in case the customer loses their keys, which they 100% will do. The devices take roughly another day to mount up properly. They need to be waterproofed if they're on the exterior, and the cameras all need to be aimed, and Wi-Fi signal needs to be tested all around the space. The tech team has put together a configuration station to help speed this along. We also need to go through and label these cables. So there will be a fluke attached to help us find this device on the patch panel and label it. Well, Christmas Day is over. We've unwrapped all our presents. Everything looks good. There's just one thing left that needs our attention. This network rack needs to be terminated and get its devices as well. The process here is the same as you've seen us do in most of our other videos. The only difference is we're using Unify patch panels this time. The tech team here today really knows their stuff, and they have a plan for how they'd like this rack to be laid out. We help them by getting the cables out of their way and organized, and then insert each device as it gets provisioned, testing the whole time to make sure that nothing got broken in the process. It actually takes another business day because not all of the Unify things arrived in the mail. Eventually, we get everything in position, and we're happy, and they're happy. That's the end of the project for us. The final product looks really good. I really appreciate that you came along for the ride, and I hope that you learned something. If you have any comments or questions, you can always shoot those to me, and we'll see you again real soon when we build the next network. Happy network building, everyone.